Emily Evans-Godwin. I'm with ISPME. ISPME is a nonprofit organization based in Hampton Bay, California that's been around for 12 years. And we've been working in the OER space quite a while. Working in the Common Core area, though, it's another new and emerging field. And I'm going to make the case that OER and Common Core can complement each other. And maybe from this morning's keynote, Common Core is another one of those quiet or doomsday revolutions. I don't know how provocative it is a topic amongst the people here. Are you Common Core implementers? A few of you, a lot of you. Great. Now, ISPME's work in general has three components. We're a group of social science researchers and educators that look at how educators use information, share with each other, and build knowledge through communities of practice and inform each other through collaboration. We build software applications. We built OER Commons over the last 7 years, which is not just a digital library, which it was when it first launched, but it's a professional learning platform that we'll look at in more detail through the use of curricular improvement in OER. And we have a training component. We lead workshops, and we bring people into collaboration and design thinking through many of our events. So what's happening in Common Core? I don't have to explain what Common Core is, but it's changing instruction and teaching practice right now with its shift towards higher order thinking, towards extracting meaning from texts and primary sources, about close reading, about evidence-based learning, about concepts. It's just a different way that teachers are expected to bring material to students and different outcomes for students. And that's going to really change a lot of how teachers approach their practice, whether they have the expertise today. And we're looking at OER as a medium for respecting teachers' expertise and building on that, what they know today, but thinking of their role a little differently. They're no longer just consumers of material, but they're actually producers and evaluators of material. So there's opportunities and challenges with Common Core. There's maybe a lot of gaps around how states and districts are going to implement it. There's policy gaps, there's gaps in content availability, how well it might be aligned to the standards, and this gives us some opportunities. Maybe there's a big opportunity to share what is good material, how to assess it, what the review process looks like, and what are the tools to help teachers do this themselves. So now we're going to talk a little bit how ISPME's platform, OER Commons, supports the Common Core implementation through the mindset of curricular improvement. So OER Commons, as I mentioned, it has thousands of resources from around the world, from over 350 providers. There's metadata that is very enriched to find the resources and search strategies to do that. But now there's a collection of material that's been curated by librarian experts around the Common Core. So with this group of materials, it's under continual review, and what's new is that the rubrics that are nationally recognized, the Achieve rubric for OER and the EQuiP rubric that was developed by a cross-state collaboration between New York, Rhode Island, and Massachusetts, is now a nationally recognized rubric that 26 states are piloting, and there's a jury that Achieve has created across states to learn how to use the EQuiP rubric and how to assess how well something is aligned to Common Core. Not to necessarily believe that a publisher saying it's aligned to Common Core is the gold standard. It's really how the educator can assess themselves whether it meets the standards or not. And how to do that collectively, our tool allows teachers, and I would include librarians, of course, to be able to author, to remix, and to align the material themselves. And what we're thinking this really is a very customizable way of doing professional learning, that cohorts can come together and find materials, tag them, organize them, put them in folders, construct a workflow around how the material gets approved, how is it endorsed by their either local district or by their state, and how it might be then shared out and branded as a particular collection that state or district has been proud to evaluate. Let's look at some of the examples within the system. We've embedded these rubrics now. When you find a resource in OER Commons, you can see that it might have been already aligned, or you can align it yourself, and then go through each of the dimensions of either the Achieve rubric or the EQuiP rubric for ELA or math, and understand how it has been aligned, or do that yourself. Here's a look deeper into the rubric. It shows which standards have been targeted, and then you can go through the aspects of quality. This is the Achieve rubric. Does the material have supports for the teacher to understand how it's used in the classroom? What are the interactive and technological supports? Does it address every child in the classroom? So there's 7 dimensions to the Achieve rubric. And this is a look at the EQuiP rubric. This has a different set of criteria around what is the level of text complexity, how does it bring the student to the aspects of close reading that are demanded by the Common Core, and then there's the counterpart in math. Is it building conceptual learning over the progression of the grade and grade levels, and has it gone beyond some of the maybe traditional rote learning that is on the old version of tests. So what this is also building towards is a new sense of assessment, maybe formative assessment, performance-based tasks, less of the standardized tests, but more meaningful assessments are going to be developed over time, and we're looking for educator involvement in that process. So here's some of the workflows where someone has added not just a qualitative review of the material, not the quantitative, but the qualitative review of material. At each dimension, you can add a comment, and some of these comments might be, initial assessment of the material from reading it, but we're seeing a lot of the qualitative reviews come from the use of the material in the classroom. And this starts to show that the feedback loops of looking at the material, using in the classroom, gathering teacher reflections, making those reflections digital and searchable, and then having that be part of a collaborative process that teachers can see what has been used in the classroom, what have been the results, and then possibly when it is OER and can be remixed, to continuously improve that material. So behind the scenes, there's an administrative dashboard. You can put your group, your cohort of reviewers inside a set of tasks and see, have they actually reviewed the set of materials that you want them to? How many have they reviewed? How many have they tagged? Have they organized them into folders? And in what ways have they engaged with OER? This is a snapshot of the authoring platform. It has a lot of accessibility, especially unique accessibility features that when you produce a piece of material, curriculum, and this is just the metadata that you put in after you've written it. But when you write it and then publish it here, it can be seen immediately in screen readers, and you can embed multimedia material that you could then watch, say, video at different speeds and things like that. So that's already built into the system that we're very excited about as far as an authoring platform. But you can also come here and make a copy of something. Someone talked about cloning OER. You can do that right here in the system, and then continuously add to it and improve it if it's been made in the open author environment. Now here's an example of what some states and groups are doing. This author is from the state of Illinois, and they've been able to take some of the material that has been approved and branded with their state seal. That's one way that we're looking at states having their own collections of things that may be approved or endorsed. Groups also, besides branding, individuals can earn badges and become known as reviewers and trusted evaluators of materials. So we have different badges. These are the remixer badge. If you've taken a piece of material, in this case it was created in open author and remixed it, made a new piece out of it, you can earn either author or remixer badges. And in the case of evaluation, we have some evaluator badges, 3 levels. Initially, if you start evaluating and you add and you start creating a collection of things that you have evaluated, you can move up the scale in earning those badges. And in this case, it's hard to see. This is a group from Hawaii, the state of Hawaii. We've been working with their curriculum specialists in both ELA and math, that they are using our site to work together as a group to select and review and approve a collection of material, and then they can have an area on the site that is branded for that state. Teachers can easily find and see what is my state interested in suggesting for me. These are not mandated, but they're suggested. So how this is impacting teaching is OER is really offering something that broadens the curriculum, broadens the choices for teachers, and gives them a big platform for collaborating together. And when we have professional development workshops, we talk about the principles of open and why OER is really this chance to be a contributor rather than just a consumer of content. We show them how to find things and how to find things according to the Common Core standard they might want to teach to, how to add particular standards to any of the resources by using the standards tool, and then how to use the rubrics, how to review things. In addition to those things that they might learn about open, they learn how to collaborate. They learn digital skills in organizing material online and making it easier to find, having workflows where maybe there's an administrator of the group and has to delegate to the rest of the review panel around how to move materials through their process, and then how to improve material over time. So it's really taking on a lot of roles that have been maybe traditionally held by proprietary publishers. The role of being a curator, the role of being an author of material, and now just being able to think that your personal experience in the classroom can contribute to a resource that everyone can see. So to summarize the opportunity that OER and Common Core have together, we really see this as empowering groups of educators to focus on what the local gaps might be in available curriculum. We're working with a group, a regional group in Arkansas that wants to focus just on 4th grade ELA and math Common Core material that speaks to special ed and English language learners. And they had not found enough available material. And turning to OER and things that are freely available online to do that, but they had no work process, no workflow in order to do it, and no platform. They had started with just a Google Doc, and they were throwing resources in there, and now they're like, well, now how do we know what's good? And they came to us to construct a workflow, to give them a set of tools to review things, to have an authoring platform, so when they talk about how those things that they've found should be used in the classroom, they can do that in open author. And it's really give them a new sense of how to pull this type of selection, curation demands on them into something that's organized. There's the opportunity to use these nationally recognized quality rubrics embedded right in the collection of OER, and to think about how curriculum improvement is a piece of professional learning. And beyond curriculum improvement, Common Core really is looking at improved instruction. So how to really see this as a continual flow of feedback loops of finding something all the way down to how does my teaching practice improve, and how will I be evaluated as a teacher once I have a greater command of Common Core. So that's OER Commons and how we're implementing, working with Common Core. We do a lot of other work. We work internationally as well, and we are really looking for other collaborators. And I invite you all to check us out. We have a conference coming up a month from now called the Big Ideas Fest, and that's all about collaboration and design thinking, not just K-12, but across all the grade levels and all issues. And it's a great time in Half Moon Bay, California. So thank you. Other questions? Any questions? Yes.
Yeah, I was just wondering, what has the feedback been like from the teachers who are searching for items specific with Common Core? Are they able to find what they're looking for? Sometimes with these sites, there's a needle in the haystack type feel.
Yes.
And I'm thinking of our middle school teachers. Are they able to find things that they're finding useful? I just wonder what kind of feedback.
Well, it's interesting because I've been working with this platform and the emergence of OER for 7 or 8 years. So when I first started out, teachers were already inundated. There's too many resources online, and how do you tell what's good? So it's an iterative process of gaining the digital search skills to be able to understand how to look at search results and what you might see as helpful metadata as to whether that material fits what you're seeing, what you might need in the classroom. Now, the demands of the Common Core, we really need to start to cull through those 50,000 things that we've already collected to, we're starting really from the ground up with educators together to have maybe the first 500 rather than 50,000 of things that really speak to the Common Core. And then the degree to which they do fit that, it's not an automatic thing. It's really a process of learning to integrate Common Core into the classroom. So I think that's the challenge. That's part of the challenge is what makes a good resource? How do I know that? And how do I then share it out to others?
So the Achieve tool is what really separates the OER Commons from the other needle in the haystack kind of things. But when I brought this up to a group of educators recently, the concern that arose was, well, how are you going to make sure that you're getting that information into that Achieve tool, that it's the right people putting that information in, and how do you motivate the people to get that information, to review these items?
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. Those two tools, I think these are right now the only digital versions of the Achieve OER tool and the EQuiP rubric. And what we're doing is leading professional development workshops on understanding that process. But it's a leap of faith. It's one of the new risks to handing that power over to a group of educators rather than hearing it from the publisher saying, we're done, this is as great as we think it needs to be, now just go use it. Now it's an iterative process.
So are you able to put together teams and bring them in, train them, and have them sit and review material?
Yes. So that's what we're doing. We're working with cohorts from different states, from different districts, people that may already be nominated as a curriculum specialist for their district to be able to go through this process. Okay, just a couple more minutes.
I understand that some publishers are peer reviewing an entire course I'm sure it has as part of it, you know, the use of their textbook and other learning materials. And one of these is wild. And I noticed this when I went to the QM site. They had a course where you would actually review a publisher's course, publisher's review course. Have you run into any examples of that, or do you think that's the future for a publisher who's feeling a little bit of insecurity with what you're doing?
Well, I hope publishers are worried. I don't
I think so.
Adding comments to your website as a feature may, that could just be a gimmick. I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with that example. But I would say there are, say, publisher criteria for quality that some of the implementers of OER are still using. Now, the state of Washington, over the last year, created their own rubric. They took the OER Achieve rubric and aspects of the EQuiP rubric and the publisher's criteria, and they made their own rubric. And they had a review committee go through resources, and now they have just published a whole collection of things that have gone through that, and they're sharing that out. What they want to do then is give small grants to a group of districts to pilot using those and understanding the rubric and then being able to select things themselves. So keep that process going and distribute the process of evaluating. But the publisher criteria are still important in that respect. I don't know how much the publishers are going to respond to ground up feedback. That remains to be seen. Well, I'll give my cards, and I have some old-fashioned handouts if anyone wants to take something home, and feel free to contact me. Thank you.